Hey friends, Tim Norton here. I'm one of the pastors at First Presbyterian Church, and we are so thankful that you are sacrificing your time and energy to come be part of our Overflow shelter this season. This video is meant to be a quick thank you, but also a what to expect summary, so that when you come on your volunteer evening, you'll be able to know where to go and what types of things you'll be doing. The first thing you need to know is where to park. Downtown Winston, Salem can be a little confusing with all of the one-way streets, but the street behind me is Marshall Street, and you'll want to come off of Marshall Street and hang a left at any of these entrances. You'll be able to park in this side free of charge without any parking pass, and we'll be able to show you where to go once you get out of your car. Once you get out of your car, you're going to want to head into our fellowship hall. So if you look in this hallway, it's the first door on the left. There will be a large floodlight that illuminates this hallway so you'll be able to see, but let's come on and head in. You know, when men and women experience homelessness in our community, it's often hard to think about what it would take to bring them into stable housing. The different reasons that bring somebody to experience homelessness are as diverse as the people themselves. And City with Dwellings is a team of people, of different churches and city leaders coming around to create a consistent community, a network of people who get to know the individuals, the men and women who are experiencing homelessness in our community, and to surround them with the right resources so that they can be empowered to create stable housing for themselves. It's an incredible ministry that City with Dwellings does during the day. There's a lot of outreach and a lot of manpower that goes into this partnership. And what you do with the Overflow shelter is create margin. You know, it's really hard for people to work on long-term goals when they feel like they're trying to survive on a night-to-night basis. And by volunteering for this Overflow shelter, you're creating mental, emotional, and spiritual space for the men and women to engage City with Dwellings during the day, and perhaps, Lord willing, create stable housing. So let's come on into the fellowship hall. When you arrive, you'll knock on the door, and one of the team leads will be able to let you in. Welcome to the fellowship hall of First Pres. Right now, as you can see, it's set up for our Christmas Eve services, but when the Overflow Shelter season begins, this room will be transformed and we'll have 3 separate sections for the different activities that take place in the overnight shelter. As a guest reception volunteer, when you come through the door, you'll meet one of 3 people who will be in charge for the evening. There's a paid overnight monitor who's a City with Dwellings employee and is the top leader for the overnight volunteering. And we also have 2 lead volunteers. We call them site coordinators, and these folks are consistent on the same day of the week for the entirety of the shelter process. And one of those 3 people will orient you to your evening, give you the specific tasks that you'll be asked to do, and remind you of the importance of being a friendly, welcoming face to our guests. If they haven't finished the setup process yet, they'll likely have you start pulling mats or bins of our guests' items and make sure that we're fully prepared for the sleeping station, which will be at the far end of the room. The dinner will be served to your right when you walk in, and the check-in process will be happening on the left. And as a guest reception volunteer, you'll be integral to the check-in process. You'll have a list of items that you'll walk through the guests with, and they'll be able to pull the personal items they want to keep for the night, the items they want stored outside, and the items that need to go through our bed bug prevention protocol to make sure that we keep our fellowship hall clean for everyone. Once the check-in process is done, you'll help facilitate the guests sitting down for a warm meal that will be provided by a different team of volunteers, and you'll be able to interact and connect with folks who have had a long day. You know, as you saw outside earlier in the video, it's a cold and rainy day, even in December. How much more difficult and oppressive of a day it might be when it's cold or even snowy, and our guests have been outside for hours on end. So your smiling presence and your friendly face and a warm meal will be a little glimpse of Jesus to them in an otherwise difficult day. And after dinner's over, you'll be able to help clean up and help the guests transition towards their mats for sleeping. And as you might imagine, they're usually pretty worn out and go to bed quickly. So by 9 o'clock, we'll be able to celebrate another night of being able to give the gift of a warm meal and a warm bed to 25 men in our city. And you'll be able to head home after checking out with one of those 3 leaders for the evening. Now, the space where I'm standing right now is the space where the 25 men that will be staying at our church will be sleeping. Every night from January 1st to March 31st, men who otherwise wouldn't have a warm meal or a warm, friendly face or a warm place to sleep will have all of those things because of you. You know, in the Gospels, Jesus often did extraordinary things in the midst of ordinary and mundane moments. At a picnic, serving a meal together, on a walk with some of his friends. The Gospels tell us that God uses ordinary moments and ordinary people and ordinary acts of kindness for his extraordinary mission. And so your involvement with the shelter, though it might only be for a few hours, is a powerful demonstration of the gospel that we at First Pres believe in. And it's a powerful act of kindness that our community desperately needs, especially during the winter season when we have hundreds of men and women experiencing homelessness in our community. So, can't thank you enough for volunteering. We are grateful for your partnership as we try and love our neighbors well, and we look forward to seeing you on your night of volunteering. Take care, friends.